Welcome to Rory's Roundup for marketers who practice the art and science of organic growth. Today, I'll be asking the question, is Google's dominance of the $300 billion search industry over? The Wall Street Journal claims Google's dominance of the $300 billion search advertising market is slipping as new challenges emerge. In their article, Google's grip on search slips as TikTok and AI startups mount challenge. Now, some of the challenges Google faces, as claimed by the Wall Street Journal, are the antitrust pressures placed on Google from the Department of Justice in the United States, the rise of TikTok, and user behavior shifting due to usage of AI search engines like Perplexity or ChatGPT. Now, when thinking about this, there are a few recent updates that could support this claim from WSJ. Google has received what they call radical and sweeping proposals from the DOJ that risk hurting consumers, businesses, and developers. TikTok recently introduced a filter that provides marketers with the ability to target ads based on a user's search query, and this is a similar model to Google's AdWords and something that TikTok wasn't offering until recently. Perplexity, the AI-powered search engine that's set to introduce ads alongside AI-powered answers, Perplexity already monetizes with a $20 per month subscription, but with the new ad-powered model, this could mean that WSJ's claim that Perplexity are taking resources away from Google is true, is going to ring true. Let's reflect then on some of those factors in more detail. So the antitrust pressures placed on Google from the DOJ. In October, we learned that the DOJ is ordering Google to break out Chrome and Android as separate businesses, share user queries, clicks, and results with competitors, impose restrictions on Google's use of data to build AI tools, make changes to its online advertising products, and limit distribution partnerships with Apple and other users so that users have more choice in the search engine they use. Now, according to Google's response, this would have a major impact on their business. The press release by Leanne Mulholland on their blog The Keyword makes it clear that this would pose a major threat to how much value they can provide as a business. So Google's search ad market dominance may very well be under pressure from the DOJ trial, but they will battle this in court until 2025. So any immediate changes are unlikely around the corner for marketers to worry about. Let's reflect on the rise of TikTok. So another question you might ask after hearing the takeaway from the Wall Street Journal's article is, how are TikTok and Perplexity stealing that much search ad market share off Google? TikTok's only recently launched a search query-based targeting functionality to the ads platform. So it's unlikely that advertisers will have had the time to, one, experiment with shifting all of their budgets over there just yet, and two, just getting familiar with the features that are on offer. And we shouldn't forget that ByteDance, the Chinese company that owns TikTok, is being forced by the US government to sell TikTok to a US-based company by January 2025. This may result in hesitance from marketers in shifting their ad budget across to TikTok from Google. Okay, so the third core factor, as listed by the WSJ, is user behavior is shifting due to the usage of AI search engines like Perplexity or ChatGPT. Now, when we consider the rise of AI search and the claim that users will navigate to these tools over Google, I do have to think about the fact that Perplexity, according to my recent calculations, has 0.1% of Google's active users, based on Dmitry Shevelenko, who's Perplexity's chief business officer's interview with the Financial Times in August. So, Perplexity is an exciting tool showing the potential of how generative AI can create a delightful search experience, but it faced a number of legal challenges, and it still lacks authority and the trust that Google has built. Those are the main problems with AI search right now, and that's accuracy, misinformation, and therefore the trust from users to use it as their main search engine. On top of that, Google is rolling out tons of AI search features as they attempt to disrupt their business from the inside, such as AI overviews, AI organized search results. And if users find AI search valuable, why not just keep using Google's AI search features? I was interested in a study that Rand Fishkin at Spark Torah did recently that showed that Google still has 88% share of clickstream data versus its competitors. And this was an article on Spark Toro called Is Google Losing Market Share? Where Rand basically questioned the validity of the data from eMarketer in the Wall Street Journal article. The data that Rand pulled from Clickstream showed that Google had 88% of share, Bing 7%, Yahoo 2.5, DuckDuckGo 1.9, and all the rest were below 1%. So Rand basically has called out this article from the Wall Street Journal as sort of making overblown claims of Google's demise, but he does point out the fact that the likes of Instacart, Apple, Hulu, and Spotify are nipping at Google's heels, and marketers should take note and explore those platforms for their advertising potential. So, in my opinion, what does this all mean for marketers? Now, I think there's been a lazy narrative in the media this year in response to the generative AI boom that goes something like Google is declining, and everyone is switching to use AI chatbots or native AI search engines to solve their problems, and it gets clicks. But I don't think that the majority of people right now are using AI chatbots to search for things and replacing their old habits just yet. And when you compare the active users on AI search engines like Perplexity to Google, Perplexity has 0.1% of Google's active users, and you see just how dominant Google is. So for me, you shouldn't divert resources away from investing in Google right away. However, the ROI of SEO efforts on Google may have declined in the last 24 months as Google has responded to the generative AI threat to the quality of their search results. And we've seen that play out with algorithm updates and changes to new search features. That said, paid search should still reach a huge TAM, even with SEO's ROI declining on Google, and it's still a highly valuable channel to build for the long term with sustainable content-led growth. I do think that if you market a product or service that has a technically savvy target audience, or broadly in the tech industry, that you should start to consider seeding investments in these new and emerging AI search channels like ChatGPT's GP Store, Perplexity, and others. I also think that there's an opportunity to reach audiences on TikTok with search query targeting, and that's a good one for marketers, those who are already using TikTok to successfully reach their customers organically. I'm not a TikTok expert, but I think marketers should think carefully about the type of ad creative they would use on here, especially when they're paying for that reach. But any audience building may be in vain if TikTok ends up being banned in the United States. So I suggest marketers keep a close eye on these things, especially the Department of Justice trial, but it will be years until that outcome is felt, and it's unlikely going to change how users search immediately because they do have long-established habits of, quote-unquote, Googling something. Ultimately, what I would say is Google search dominance doesn't need to collapse, as publications will write about to get clicks and impressions, for marketers to experiment in investing in new and emerging channels across AI and social media. And I would ask you, what do you think? Do you buy into the narrative that Google is declining and about to face its bitter end? Do you think it's all overblown by AI bros and click-hungry publishers? Or do you think it's somewhere in between? I'd love for you to let me know in the comments. And thank you for listening to Rory's Roundup. I'll see you back here soon. Thank you.